Hey, JB here. We are just getting ready to go live here. If you can see us, hear us here, I got Frank Kern, our special guest here for our workshop. What's going on, Frank?
Well, you've up and done it now. You know, Here we go. Yeah, I'm stoked, man. I like teaching this particular workshop a lot. So I'm excited to be here. Just got the screen share going. I don't know if you can see it on your end or not,
Yep,
but
yep. I'm going to plug it in here in a second.
cool.
Sometimes with all this AI, Frank, they don't know if you're really here or if it's just an AI avatar. So I'm giving everyone a chance to kind of zoom in on you and make sure they could see that it's the real Frank Kern in the building here
You're
on a Monday.
absolutely right. Buildings were invented by Abraham Lincoln, as he famously tweeted in 1947.
Spoken like ChatGPT, beautiful.
Yeah.
This is great. You're
That
not
would be
helping me out here, Frank. But look, y'all, if you're tuned in right now, let us know in the comments where are you tuning in from. And if this is your first time on one of our high level workshops, let us know my first time or my 100th time. We like to know either way. And if you've been to any of our in person events, such as our SaaSPRENEUR Lives, where we show you how to use high level with subject matter experts that are invited, let me know as well. Or if you've been to our Level Up Summit, we want to get an idea is whose first rodeo this is and who's not first rodeo this is, because we want to make sure we're throwing in some nuggets in this training for you. And we got some exciting stuff here. So, Frank, I got a few people that are starting to chime in here. Um, just kind of for you and I here, folks are going to be asking probably tons of questions. Myself and Jordan, we're going to be doing our best to kind of field those questions. Towards the end, I'll probably find the best 10 that hit a majority of what everyone kind of is asking here. And then if you can just help me out and answer those questions, so that way we can get folks right past the excuse stage into implementation and make sure they get their money's worth for using high level and right grow their business.
All right. Did you guys hear the leaf blower that strategically started right like 2 feet away as soon as we
Absolutely,
started?
Frank. This is traditional.
It's
This happened to us
amazing.
last time and the time before.
It's just incredible. I mean, the guy was like right at the windows. I'm like, seriously? Like, there's a whole lot of other places you could be.
He put the machine right through the crack of the window for you. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you hear this?
He's on dog. All right. They got walkie, like, okay, we're a go. The Zoom has started. Commence blowing the leaves.
I love it. Well, Frank, we got people from the East Coast, West Coast, so you're not the only one waking up early here, so which is nice.
Man,
And I
it
know
ain't
you're.
perfect. I got 4 children. I haven't been to sleep in 23 years.
I love it. I love it. Well, okay, I think we're good to go here. We got the stream going. We are, we want to stick to the timing on this because between you and I, Frank, we'll end up keeping this on for 4 hours straight, and then that's a whole other explanation. So, Frank, for those people that are joining, I'm going to go ahead and share your screen here. You mind sharing that slide you had again and kind of
Let's
kicking
see.
off what we got here? We have a
Okay.
lot of first timers, by the way.
Okay, y'all who are, oh, whoops, hit the wrong button. Okay, so you guys who are new, it's usually way better. Like they usually have normal people on this. I don't know why they invite me to do these things because I'm a complete wacko. So just so you know, don't let this experience, kind of color the rest of your opinion of how high level does these types of events. But yeah, can you see the thingy now, the screen stuff?
Yep, I got it here. I'm just moving a couple things around. I'm going to kind of be in the outskirts here for a little bit till you kind of break this down, and then I'll jump in when you need a hand and rock and roll.
Okay, is that secret code for start the thing now and quit yapping?
Beautifully deciphered. I'm good if you are.
Okay, let us, as they say at NASA, get jiggy with it. All right, y'all. So we got 3 days together. I don't know why you would sign up for 3 days with me either, but you're stuck with me now. So let's make the most of it. We're going to have fun though. So I have worked, actually, I started with a high level as a customer in 2021. And my friend Billy Jean Shaw told me about them. He was like, hey, man, there's this company called High Level and you could like resell it and you can keep all the money. And I was like, I love that dude, but I'm also super jaded because I've been selling things online since 1999. That rhymes, I know. I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, no, seriously. So I became a customer because I just did not. I was like, it's too good to be true. It has to be a crappy product or something. So I used it as just a normal customer for over a year, and ran our whole business with it. And then finally felt comfortable with it and offered it to my community. And it's just great. So first of all, if you've never really experienced like the actual tool and everything, it does the stuff it says it's going to do, which is awesome. So in the past gazillion years, since I've been an advisor to online entrepreneurs, last count, by the way, was in 2018 or so. I counted all the customers I'd ever had, and it was over 82,000. The biggest thing amongst 82,000 and counting people is overwhelm. Like that's what'll get in their way. Even people that are at 7 and 8 figures, they'll get stuck, in this overwhelmed state of, what am I going to do? So when working with people who are selling high level or considering selling it, the very first thing that you hit typically is this overwhelm mental stage, the thing's got 8 billion features, it's like, what features do I use? How does this thing work? What do I sell? What if I don't say the right thing? What if people think I'm dumb? What if I'm not technical? What if, whatever? What about all these other big competitors and stuff like that? So our purpose today is to turn all of that off and to show you the super simple, non-overwhelming way to do this. And tomorrow, I'll show you how to get people coming to you, asking you about high level, so you don't have to cold call people and stuff like that. That's not fun. I used to do that, and that's how I got started online. I was also tired of going door to door and getting rejected. I was terrible at it. Why would anyone want to just talk to a stranger that looks like me? I'm covered in tattoos. I look like a murderer. So I was like, I got to get something else, And then on day 3, I'll show you what to say to them that is A, true, always helps, and B, not technical, so you don't have to be a techie expert. So that's our agenda. That's what we're going to do. I'll go yap at them and start moving. Okay, so numero uno. This is easier than you think in terms, everything's harder than you think, but in terms of complexity and then all of the buts that our mind likes to put up, a lot of the stuff that we freak out about is nothing. So all you got to do is know your enemy, and your enemy, and sorry for looking over here, that's where my slides are, y'all. So, I'm real weird about making eye contact with the camera. I think it's disrespectful if I don't. So anyway, it's not a lack of credibility. It is not a lack of your ability to get results, because ultimately, when you offer high level to a client, you're not the one doing anything. High level is the tool. You're just here's the tool. Let me set it up for you. If you sold somebody a Ford F-150, you're not going to be like, how am I going to get this person results? You don't have to. The truck does. Big fan of the F-150. All right. So clearly it's not lack of a good product to sell. You have 2 enemies. One is self-doubt, and 2 is overwhelm. Self-doubt's a bad one. And I have it. We all have it. Maybe there's one amazing person out there that doesn't have it, but we're always like, yeah, but I'm not good enough, or I don't know enough, or in school, my teacher told me that, I wasn't good, or something, and we've all got that. And then there's the too much to figure out kind of thing. I've been there. I get it. So our mission is to get rid of those. So the first thing I want to explain, in case anybody's worried about competition, all right, is I want to hopefully show you how big the opportunity is. I don't mean in terms of business opportunity or cheesy stuff like that. I mean, anyone selling stuff to businesses counts here. According to Google, okay, now if it's on Google, we both know everything on Google is purely factual and accurate. But I researched this as best as I could. I'm pretty sure this is right, but do your own research. Anyway, according to search on Google I did, about 33 million small businesses in the US. Now, with the stuff we're talking about over the next 3 days, our target market is small businesses, not big franchises and stuff, not anything with a board. You don't want to be talking to boards and stuff like that. Just where the lady or the dude owns and operates the business. That's who we're after. About 33 million of them in the US. There ain't 33 million of us. So there's more of them than there are of us. Good. All right. Demand greater than supply. We like that. Okay. This is ridiculous. I saw this on Microsoft, I think, on a report published by them. 5.5 million new local businesses open each year. I don't know how many that is per day, but it's a lot. So any fear around competition or all of that kind of stuff, man, please don't worry about it. It's just like, if we all, like everybody that sold anything to small businesses, like if we all suddenly, got a brain transplant from the world's greatest, most legendary marketing and salespeople ever, and we never slept, and we all went out and tried to sell our stuff to all the small business, we couldn't. Like, we just simply could not get them all. There's just that many of them. So please turn off but there's this guy over there and this lady and their competitors and stuff. It doesn't matter. There's so many more of them than there are of us. We're going to be cool. So we're in good shape in that way. And you probably know this already. Local businesses, especially local businesses like your local, chiropractor, hair salon, gym, you know what I mean? Like oil change place, landscaper, stuff like that. Dude, they're terrible at marketing. Like, no disrespect to them. It's not like anyone teaches it, I mean, my kids went to college and they were like, Dad, you wouldn't believe the stuff they're teaching us in marketing. I'm like, don't tell me. It will upset me, So they don't know. So none of them know what they're doing. I forgot where I got this stat. It must be true because it's a specific number. But according to something I read, which I've now forgotten, 36% of them don't even use email to follow up with people. And that's, you can prove that to yourself, just go and think to yourself, okay, how much follow-up communication have I ever gotten from the local businesses that I've done business with? And the answers are probably like none. I've got one that follows up with me. It's the pest control service, and I'm already a customer, and all they do is just bother me and tell me when they're coming. I'm like, dude, I don't care when you're coming. Quit calling me. All right. Those are the only ones. I'm already a customer. It's ridiculous. Okay. Better news is High Level makes tools that have already been proven like a gazillion times to help them. So if you go to their homepage, it's like this running counter, and it'll tell you how many businesses use the thing. It's like, okay, pretty sure it's been proven out across these however many millions of people have used it by now. Like, we got a pretty good track record here. We don't have to worry about it not doing its job. So that's pretty good because it's like a thing, and it's not going to go on vacation or like have a mental breakdown or whatever. So hundreds of thousands of businesses use High Level every day. You can see the accurate numbers on their site. I must have done some math here to figure this out by taking the numbers on their site and then, doing the division or whatever, but that's less than 1% of the total addressable market. So the market, it's just like, what's that word? Blue ocean, I think. Yeah. Big blue ocean. Even though to us as marketers, it probably seems like everybody's doing this because we're on social media and the algorithm's only showing us other marketing people. But if you step outside of our little bubble, oh my God, dude, they have no idea what's going on. It's absolutely incredible. So kind of like being redundant in my slide shows, apparently millions of local businesses need help. And in order to help them, first thing you got to do is understand what you're selling. And this is where we can get overwhelmed with the high levels because they're one of those companies that instead of like being normal people and taking all their money they're making and buying matching helicopters and, solid gold jumpsuits and stuff, which is obviously what I would do, they keep reinvesting in the product and making new and cooler stuff. So that can be for, folks like me and you can be like, man, there's so much stuff here. What do I need? What do I do with all this stuff? So I think we should simplify it for now. We can check out all the million features whenever you want to. But for now, let's look at a big picture of it. All right. In reality, we're not really selling software and tools. Okay. We're selling a solution to a problem. And this is important for two reasons. One, there's that subset of people that just love talking about techie stuff. Like, well, what do we do? So we have an API that integrates with the other API and goes through this multi-proxy service system. And then there's the other subset of people that are like, I know nothing about this tech stuff. I'm doomed. I have wonderful news for the second group who's worried about it. The business people don't care. They don't care. They don't want you to talk to them about techie stuff. And then the smaller subgroup of people that just love talking about tech stuff, talk about that with each other, but not with your business prospects, because the business person, all they care about is just getting more customers. That's all they want, you know? So what we need to focus on when we're selling this stuff is a better future, not a better feature. They don't care, a better future. And the net effect of using high level, specifically the reviews thingy, which is like the easiest thing to sell, in my opinion. Specifically, that is when you use this, you'll get more reviews and therefore you'll get more customers. That means better future. That's like the whole message, not here's specifically how the technology works. I don't know how the damn thing works. Dude, I mean, I've been using it for, good God, what are we, 4 years? Math is not an exact science. Next year, we have 5th year of me being a customer there. I couldn't tell you how half of this stuff actually works. Don't care. So 3 very common business problems that are ever present and never going away, which selfishly is good for us because we can solve them. Number 1, not enough customers. Ask any business. Just walk down the road. You got enough customers? You know, no. Like, no one's going to be like, yeah, I got too many. Hate it. Wish I get less money. This sucks. Like, no, they all want more customers. Second one is feast or famine. You know, super common with regular mom and pop businesses. And then third is, you've probably seen this, you know, they're disorganized and stressed. Oh, that kid at the front counter doesn't answer the phone right. Where in the hell's the, you know, because they're doing everything and they're in the weeds. It's normal. Been there. It's rough. You know, so those are 3 big problems that just never go away. And our job is just to solve those problems, like take that unpleasantry away. So you also need to understand what they want. And that is ideally, now we don't want to overtly promise this, like that's, please don't misinterpret what I'm telling you, but in their heart of hearts, what they really want, I wouldn't mind this myself, by the way, is to simply do nothing and get more money. Like that, they want that. We don't want to promise that because that's deceptive, but that's really what they want to do. Like, I don't want to do anything extra. I just want more customers and stuff. Where's the button? Where's that button at? Give me that. You know, that's what they want. We can come close to delivering that. Okay. So what they don't want is to learn something new. All right. That's why all of us features folks are like, yeah, and then you can do this, and then you can do this. And like, don't do that. Because all they're hearing is, oh shit, I got to learn how to do that. You know, they don't want another thing to do. Oh, you mean now I got to do this? They don't want to have to train someone because they already don't like their employees. You know, the majority of them, of course, I'm generalizing. The majority of my damn employees, nobody used to work like they did in my day. You know, and they definitely don't want to have to figure out 900 features because they're freaking swamped. You know, go to your local restaurant and look at the owner and see how busy that person is. I mean, that person, like, my man's about to have a heart attack, you know, or the lady with the nail salon. This has got constantly, their customers are late and she's trying to juggle everybody, you know. It's like, they don't want to mess with that stuff. So they want a simple solution, more customers consistently without creating stress. So they do as little stuff as possible, but get that result. That's what they want. All right. And we can give that to them, but we definitely don't want to promise like do nothing, get money. So please don't misunderstand me. Probably made that clear. So best way to do it. I mean, there's a million ways to do it, but in my opinion, like the simplest foot in the door thing is give them a system that gets more reviews. And there's a couple reasons why. If you were Google, first of all, and they all understand this, you know, so we don't have to convince anybody that having a lot of good reviews is good. Like, could you imagine going to a business going, man, your reviews are terrible. It sure would be better if you had good ones. And they're like, no, that's not going to happen. You know, or man, you have absolutely no reviews. Like nobody knows anything about you. Probably be cooler if you had some. Like they're going to go, no, it wouldn't. You know, they already understand this. So we're not having to fight an uphill battle. So, you went to Google and you're like, who's the best plumber in town? What's the easiest way for you to figure it out? Well, it's going to be reviews. Like, that's how we do stuff. That's how I make a decision sometimes on what to order from Uber Eats. thank God for Uber Eats. What did we do before that? I can't even remember what life was like. This mac and cheese, you had to make your own macaroni and cheese out of the box, I think is what you had to do. All right. So generally speaking, and I'm no SEO magician here, but it's a general rule. The ones with the good reviews are the ones that get shown more. I know, pretty in-depth scientific figuring out right there, but that's kind of how it works, right? So good news is getting good reviews is pretty easy, assuming that the business doesn't insult their customers and throw things at them, and they do a good job. So we're taking the obvious as a given here. It's actually not hard to help them do this at all. It's like mind-numbingly easy. So what we have now is a great offer for local businesses, which is like, you don't really have to do anything extra, and you can get a whole lot of good reviews. And as a result of that, you'll likely get more customers. It's very logical. There's no real getting them to believe something that they normally would have to be convinced of. And it's important because I don't know about you, but sales is a pain. I don't like it. I'm real good at it in print and on video, but in person, I absolutely hate it. Over the phone, can't stand it because I was a door-to-door salesperson. And before that, I got to be a telemarketer. Neither of those jobs are that fun. Just the myriad of ways people can tell you to go and do certain things with yourself is really impressive. There are a lot of different ways for people to say that. I learned them all. So we have this great offer for local businesses, and we can actually deliver on the promises, which is good. So pretty sure we all agree on this concept: more reviews, better search engine results, better customers and stuff. We all got that. So do the businesses. They don't have to be convinced of that. So we got a simple solution to that issue. So how does it work? All right. Well, I'll talk to you about how we pitch it on day 3. But really, like the answer to, hey, how does the review system work? From a technical standpoint, dude, I don't know. Who cares? How does a freaking Ferrari work? Nobody cares. They're just like, this is cool. The end. I don't know how my computer works. Don't care. Don't know how my internet service works. Do not care. No clue how this microphone and that camera function. Zero concerns. Your customers the same way. They don't care. They're just like, our customers going to come? Yeah, probably. All right. So what you need to do right now is please, just humor me and pretend to believe this if you don't already. I swear to you, this is true. You don't have to know everything. And the reason I'm making a big deal of this is because that is a brick wall between them thinking about going and God forbid, offering this to somebody, but I don't know the answer to everything. So I'm going to stay home and I'm going to read more stuff and watch more tutorials, and all that's wonderful, but it's just, you don't have to do it. It's unnecessary. You might be talking to somebody and they could ask you, how did it do that? And you know what? This is what I tell them. I don't know. No clue. I'm not even going to read that because I don't even say that much. Like, dude, I don't know. It works. I can tell you that. Like, look, see, try it. See how it just worked there? I don't know how it did that. I'm not a programmer, but it works. What do you want to do? All right. Whatever you do, don't tell them, here's the API connection that goes into Google. And what Google does is it sees and authenticates with a token using OAuth. And then now that works is it separately sends a message through our system, which is now going to post the reviews cross-platform to all these other, no, they will go into a coma and secretly wish you would go away so they can get back to work. All right. So they don't like that. So how are we going to do this? This is why I'm telling you, other people are better than me. So if this is your first high-level workshop, the other ones are with normal people, okay? Your head's not going to explode. I don't know why I put that in the slides. Thing number 1, all right? We've all seen it, the whole 0 to 10 grand in 30 days or whatever thing. Don't try to do that. I mean, if you want to, knock yourself out. But that's just super stressful and really hard to accomplish, and it causes you to make bad short-term decisions. And it rarely works because you make these bad short-term decisions and it's super stressful. And don't do that. Instead, just be like, okay, I'm just going to try to get a customer or two every week, maybe. And next thing you know, I got a bunch of customers, and that's pretty good. Instead of this massive sprint, thinking I got to reach out to 10,000 people this week and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can, more power to you. It's not really necessary. Just simple daily actions repeated over time yield compounding results. And that is a law of nature, maybe, I don't know, but it seems like one. That if we just do the stuff that we're going to talk about, my voice is cracked because I did that on purpose. If we do the stuff that we're going to talk about over the next 3 days, just kind of just do these little things every day that don't take that long. Day one, probably not a whole lot. Day 45, oh my God, I've got this momentum and now things are dependable and predictable and this is actually working. But if we try to cram it all and I have to do everything in a week or whatever, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So don't sprint, walk. I don't sprint generally, really. It's just exhausting. All right. And no need to try to be what you're not. So another big one is, okay, but I'm just a regular person. I'm just a 53. I keep thinking I'm 54 years old. I'm actually 53. Don't know why. I can't do math. But I'm just a 53-year-old guy with hand tattoos and absolutely zero credentials of any kind at all. None. Didn't graduate college, never won any sort of award. I got nothing. I just happen to be this big, ugly, psychopath looking guy. What am I going to do? How am I going to compete with these big companies like HubSpot and stuff? Maybe I should try to pretend to be a normal person. Don't do that. I mean, you probably are a normal person, but there's no need to try to pretend like we're an executive or whatever. Because you and I don't know you personally, but chances are you don't own a global software empire super company. So there's no reason to pretend like it. High Level's a great big global empire, but we're not. So why would we pretend that we are? That's too much work, and it's going to come off as we're pretending to be who we're not. And I mentioned it's too much work already. I think I did. Okay. Instead, when it's local, now remember, everything's framed around doing business with other businesses in your immediate area, in your neighborhood, right? Not trying to go global yet, just folks down the road. This is much better positioning. We're the friendly folks down the road whose kids go to the same school as your kids. Oh yeah, I know that dude. I've seen that guy around. That's so much better than a random executive with the khakis and the golf shirt with the logo and stuff, talking all corporate. Maybe that works in boardrooms, but it doesn't work at the barbershop. They want somebody that they know is right down the road and they can talk to them if they need help. It's just 1,000 times better. So you can just be you, and be a normal person, because they're everyone's normal people, but they're real. So in hyperlocal, which is the theme here. So instead of going after big corporate things, I'm in California here in this little tiny community outside of San Diego with 1,000 people or something. Instead of me trying to be a big dog in Colorado or whatever, I ain't never been there. Real easy to be a big fish in a small pond. So good old Jim or Jane or Frank or whatever always beats fancy executive talking fancy executive stuff. He ain't one of us. You know what I mean? So no point in trying to go on that. So relax. Just try to get a handful of clients in your first month or two. Be easy, kind to yourself. Give yourself permission to take it slow and not even learn it, but experience for yourself that, oh my God, this really isn't that big of a deal. It's actually okay. I got this. This is all right. Nobody freaked out. Nothing exploded. What do you know? Do that, please. And then you're on a really, really good path. If you try to sprint, you're not as stressful and you're more likely to not finish up. So learn this from experience. Putting a whole bunch of pressure on yourself, going 0 to 100 immediately results in failure almost every time. It's just like a formula for disaster. So don't do that. Businesses forever, we could be, our great grandchildren are going to be experiencing the same thing. They're like, businesses still have these same problems. They still want more customers. They still want them more consistently. And they still are overwhelmed and stressed out forever. It'll be like that until there aren't businesses left. So we're good. And they'll always have them. And like I said earlier, most of the businesses that are in your neighborhood, my neighborhood, every neighborhood, they just have no idea how to do marketing, like none. So again, to be repetitive, me and you are in a bubble. Okay. Like we're on the same social media. We're in the same social media universe, like on our social feeds, we're seeing stuff about marketing all the time. And it makes it appear that that's what everybody sees. They do not. Like you go to a restaurant or a barbershop or whatever and say like, hey man, do you know what an opt-in page is? They're like, huh? They won't even know what that is. Do you know what an email follow-up sequence is? What? No clue. Even the basics, absolutely no idea. Great for us. All right. So what they do is they turn to their personal networks. So imagine, you got a barbershop and a dude with a restaurant and, a lady with an accounting firm and whatever, somebody else with a salon or something, or insert business type here. Business people hang out together. When they want to figure out something, they'll be like, hey, y'all know how to do this thing? And then eventually somebody in their world will say, yeah, I know this person and they help me out. And then kablamo. Now you're the local person that starts getting referrals. And the reason I bring it up is because as you will likely find, especially if you do the unthinkable and ask for them, is once you get a handful of clients, those people can just beget other clients for you without you having to bribe them or offer them any sort of incentive because you helped them and they know other business people and word of mouth spreads. So yay. So being a regular person with a cool little software thingy is 100 times cooler to local businesses than being a sales rep for a huge software company. They don't trust those people, but they trust regular people down the street. And this is all common sense, I know. So here's the winning formula. We're going to start walking through this tomorrow. All right. Today, I'm just trying to turn off the dang thought loops that hurt people. That's all we want to do today. It's like, dude, turn that stuff off. It's okay to think it. We all think it and feel it. Just understand it's an illusion and you're going to be fine. Okay. So here's a winning formula. All right. What we're going to do starting tomorrow is we're going to find people with problems. Super easy. Does not involve you talking to strangers. Does not put you in any sort of risk of embarrassment or rejection. Okay. No problem. All right. So step 2, we're going to show them how to make those problems go away fast. And we're not going to ask them for any money. They're going to ask us to show them. Okay. We're just going to point them out. And I should have worded that better. We're going to point out the problem and then they're going to ask us how to do it. And then when we explain how to fix the problem, we're going to let them pay us to solve the problem for them. And we're never going to ask them for money. And you're like, no way. And I'm like, yes way. And if this were transcribed, it would sound like one of the dumbest monologues in history. So at minute number 47 and 33 seconds, Mr. Kern said, and I quote, and I'm like, yes way. But seriously, so the magic formula, find people with problems, show them the problem, let them ask you how to solve the problem, or rather, let them ask you to solve the problem for them. So find people with problems, show them the problem, show them how to solve the problem, let them ask you to solve the problem for you. Don't have to ask them for money. Don't have to ask them to buy anything. We let them do that. All right. So keep that in mind, especially if you're like me. And if you have, PTSD is a strong word, but if you have very strong negative connotations around rejection and in-person sales or any sort of human interactive sales stuff like I do, remember, we're not asking people to buy anything. We're going to let them ask us, how much is it? How do I get started? So that's what we're learning. 3 simple steps, okay? But none of the steps are going to work if those loops are still going on in your mind, or you're worried about not having the right credentials, or you're worried about, but what about the features that, of whoever, I don't even know. Or what about, I don't have any experience, or What about the fact that I'm old and look like a psychopath? Like, it does not matter. You probably don't look like a psychopath, but still, you get what I mean, right? So I think that was, oh, here we go. Step 4. 4 steps. Math is not exact science. Ask them to tell their friends about you. You won't get like a billion referrals in your first month or anything, but it'll start adding up. It's kind of cool. The word of mouth thing's not too bad. I like it. So that right there is the formula, I think. Let's see. Oh, good God. You'd think, I made these. You'd think I would remember this. I've taught this before. All right. So got some homework for you. It's easy. Okay. First thing, find the square root of 94. All right. That's step number 1. And then combine that with the second letter of the name of the 47th president of the United States. And then multiply that by a quadrillion and then see what the relevance is. No, I'm kidding. I've been watching YouTube conspiracy theory videos. They make me feel smart. All right. Go here. Okay. highlevel.com/reputation-socials. If someone would be really helpful and put that in the chat, wherever the chat may be, so other people can get to it, because like you can't click on my slides, But there's a whole bunch of pre-made social posts there. You can just choose one. It doesn't matter. All right. So that's what's there. So there's nothing weird there. It's not a trick. It's not like, sales letter. No, it's just like stuff you can use. Tools, free. What do you know? So highlevel.com/reputation-socials. All righty. Choose a pre-written social post you like, and then post it. Okay. That's all. That's the whole homework. Here's why I'm asking you to do that, by the way. First of all, nothing's going to happen. Maybe someone will reach out and say, take my money, but I highly doubt it. Like, probably absolutely nothing will happen. And that's the point. You'll be like, oh, okay. I put this thing out there, and no one with pitchforks and, torches showed up in my yard going, who are you to talk about this? Who do you think you are? None of that's going to happen. And you'll see that, okay, I took some action. It wasn't the end of the world. Nothing bad happened. It was pretty easy. Maybe the rest of this stuff is easy too. That's the only reason I'm asking you to do that. All right. So other thing, this is going to save you so much time. This URL right here, speakwith.us/live-walkthrough. I'm going to buy y'all high level an easy to remember domain. Speakwith.us. Oh, someone please put that in the comments. That's where high level will help you set stuff up if you haven't done it already, because let's face it, who reads the instructions? Not me. Why would we do that? I don't want to do that. I got things to do. So you go there, you can get on one-on-one with those folks on the Zooms, and they'll help you press the right buttons and everything. It's cool. It's free. So again, someone will copy and paste that into the chat thingy. That would be helpful. But please do that, so it'll turn off but I don't know how to work the thing. Of course you don't know how to work the thing. It's a big complicated software thingy. So go there and book a call with them folks. They're real nice. They ain't going to be uncool to you. They're just going to help you press the right buttons and show you how stuff works. And I think that's did we do it? Yeah.
Got a whole bunch of time extra, Frank. You ran through this without even rushing. This is the natural. And this is what people love about this type of training, Frank, is that, usually, you have a community, you have customers, you have your version of high level, and people just want to go where they get the resources and the trust and get things working. For those of you that have tuned in right now, with uninterrupted, Frank going through everything, what questions do you have? Throw them in the chat. And while you're going, yep. Go ahead.
Please make them easy ones, like no math, okay, or history. Very bad at that.
It's Monday, Frank. I think everyone's trying to warm up here, but we always get a few that'll throw an equation at you. So I completely get it. And then, for those of you that are brand new, right, what's your biggest takeaway from what Frank Kern has shared here? What is your biggest takeaway? And then for those of you that have been using high level for more than 30 days, what is your biggest holdback? What is really getting in your way? Because when you get into high level and you click on the reputation button on the left-hand side, it goes step by step to connect your profiles. It gives you everything there. So it's not like the beginning days where you had to build everything from scratch. There's nothing to scratch here. This is all done for you already. Easy plug and play. What Frank is going over today was the psychological reasons of why you shouldn't be waiting any longer and how stupid proof this is, to the point where if you just put a little bit of effort, you should at least have a good starting conversation. And if I'm wrong on any of this, Frank, please let me know. But stupid proof is the number one goal here. This is for everyone and anyone.
Yeah, and you don't have to be who you're not. So, because I've worked with a lot of people with high level, not, I mean, within the organization, everybody knows what they're doing, but just regular folks, like they get it in their minds that they have to present themselves as some sort of software expert or technical, and you just don't. You don't have to present yourself as being a direct competitor of, I can never remember the other people's names, but whatever, Bird's Eye is one of them, for example. Like, you don't have to do all of that. It's not necessary. You can just like wear a t-shirt and a baseball hat and be normal, and don't even have to actually go in person. You just get on Zoom with them, and you don't have to have a good looking Zoom background. You can be like, yeah, man, I work from my house. Like, there's no need for any of the posturing or any of the stuff we think we have to do. The local businesses don't care. They're just like us, and they appreciate the transparency.
Frank, these local business owners, they're a lot more educated and aware than they were original. Like back in the Yellow Page days, the Yellow Pages and the little town magazines, the internet was something brand new. So they had to like figure that out. But now most of these business owners have iPhone 17s. They have better phones than their own kids have.
But they still don't know how to send an email sequence, or that they should. They have no idea how to make the reputation stuff work. And if they do, there's no system for it. So it's like, yeah, we have AI, but overwhelming majority of the people have no idea how to use it. They'll go to Chat GPT and say something like, write me a sales letter for my new business software, and it'll write the dumbest stuff in history. And because we don't know anything, about like what marketing should look like, we're, oh, okay, this must be good. And then we wonder why nothing works. So the local business owner is the same. Yeah, sure, they have the internet. I mean, everyone can go to the hardware store and buy a set of tools, but not many of them can fix a car, myself included. So it's still the same problems. They have the same thing, because they're real good at making the food and cutting the hair and cracking the backs and aligning the, brake pads and stuff. Not real good at this stuff.
Yeah, and I just want to share a couple of takeaways here. Pickleball Passion Network shared mindset is everything. That was a big takeaway that came across here. Christopher shared here all the setup and tech only to be told with that help it costs $199. Just like we're going to get you set up. Like this is almost like this is an irresistible offer. Essentially, is what you've shared.
Well,
Um,
let's be really clear about something. You don't have to do that. They'll show you how to do it. And if you want them to do it for you, you can pay them. But if you don't, there's absolutely nothing standing in the way of like you going pressing the buttons they're showing you to press. It's not like it's, well, what you're going to have to do is build this code. So that was a little bit of a stretch on that one there, buddy. There's no forced 199. It's an offer. Hey, if you want us to handle this for you, it's exactly what we're going to do. Hey, this is what it takes to make reputation stuff work.
Yep.
There's a system that'll do it for you.
And there's more companies charging more than that, obviously, and they're not meeting with anybody local. It's like, just buy it online. The next one here was takeaway. Don't overthink it. Don't get stuck on the technical, which is powerful. And I think, Frank, when we went over this online, we're like, man, this is so much easier. We're going to like convince people of this because it's that easy. Where just integrate your Google Business Profile. If you have a TripAdvisor account, just connect it. If you have any of these main profiles that you want to drive traffic to, connect it. If you want to add a link to your Facebook page, connect it. It's simple as pointing or connecting it to integrate.
It is. Sometimes there's copy and paste. So that can be a lot. But usually it's clicking a button and hitting OK. But occasionally there is copying and pasting involved. So, we don't want to mislead anybody.
Just when I think I know what you're going to say next with this stuff, you throw me off, and I'm like, oh, he got me on that.
Well, we just want to be clear.
I agree. Next one here was have clients ask to pay. Have such a compelling conversation that they say, well, how much does this cost? How do we get this going?
Oh, it's simple. You show them how it works. And you don't even really say this is how our system works. And I'll like show you step by step on day 3. So you'll be like, oh, wow. You're like, okay, so here's what you need. And here's exactly how you make it where you're going to get more reviews, and it's going to be automated, and it goes out to all your socials, and it's featured on your web page. And here's how, like, to absolutely make sure that there's a system in place that asks people for reviews, which increases the number of reviews. And here's all that stuff. And our system does it. There's all kinds of things that can do it. And then you just sort of stop talking.
Yeah. And Velco Tech here said, go slow and make it simple, right? And then Ian followed up with, don't overthink it. So exactly what you just mentioned here. I mean, it looks like people are starting to grasp the simplicity of this, Frank, which is key. Philip did have a question from you from an expert perspective here. What socials would you recommend for social media experts for that first post? Where should we post that link that you gave us? What's a good platform to post that on first?
Whichever one you're connected to, like, why not all of them? So I've got, for me, like, if I post something on Instagram, I'm also going to post it on Facebook, and I'll always forget to post it on LinkedIn because I never go there. But if I remember, I'll also post it on LinkedIn. And wonderful news, High Level does all that stuff automatically. So I use their social poster thingy, but half the time forget to post on LinkedIn. But for me, like, personally, my favorite is Facebook. And if you do the Googling, you'll see why. The biggest demographic on Facebook are people my age. And we're the ones with the most spending power. So I'm like, okay, let's get in front of the people with the money. And they're on the Facebook. They're probably on the LinkedIn's too. But my favorite's Facebook, just because I never bothered to learn LinkedIn because it's too grown up for me.
I love it. And then the next one here is, how do we make money with this model? This is from Scott Jordan.
Well, you charge them. So, you find people with problems, and you're like, hey, man, you got this problem. If you want, I can show you how to fix it for free. If they say, yeah, sure, get on a meeting, you show them how to fix it. You don't charge them for that. They could fix it on their own, or they could get you to fix it for them. And they will either not want you to fix it for them, or they will inevitably say, how much is it? Do you do this? And you say, well, here's the price. And you can charge whatever you want to. I'm a big fan of not charging a lot. Other people love charging big setup fees. Totally up to you. It's your call. I'm more of a volume kind of person, so they don't have to think of it as an expense. It's like not enough to worry about. So I'll arbitrarily, just out of nowhere, say $197 a month. And so, all right, it's $197 a month. Once you break it down, it's like $8 a day. No, it's less than that. Math is not my thing. It's like what, $7 a day, $6 and change per day. All right, let's say $6.50 a day. Woo! And you just get a lot of them, and that's the end. And I'm a real big fan of like just doing a thing. So a lot of people be like, well, then what do I sell? And then what do I sell? And my position is like, nothing. Just keep doing more of that because it's simple. And next thing you know, you have 197 or whatever your price is, again, charge what you want. But next thing you've got that times 100 or whatever, and that's good monthly cash flow. And you're like, yay, because you don't have a lot of stress and you just kind of chill. But that's my version of it. There's a million ways to do it. But my preferred approach is that because it's easy. I like the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Like everything is easy.
And Frank, the psychological part of this, where they get the first sale for 197, for someone that's thinking, well, I don't want to sell this for 197 forever. How do you help them understand that you don't have to sell it forever?
Well, we could come up with a whole bunch of different ways to say you don't have to sell it forever, I suppose. Or we could say it slow and loud. You don't have to sell it forever. That's how, when people, if they don't speak English as their first language, that's how you make them understand English. You just say it a lot louder and slower. Then they're like, oh, now I speak your language. But seriously, you don't. Do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you, that's my preferred approach to all kinds of stuff. It's simpler.
Yeah. And Frank, to that point, there are companies that are, if you Google reputation management, you Google get more Google reviews, you Google increase your reviews, you'll see these big companies, and when you go to their pricing page, they're charging, by location. They're putting a bunch of restrictions. They're also charging a requirement of a contract for 12 months. If you're a franchise, they charge you more than the average license fee. There's a bunch of complicated stuff on this. And that's where we go back to, if you put your website up, keep it simple to buy, whether you talk to them and then say, hey, check it out on the website, you can buy it right online. They're buying their relationship with you, not just the result.
Yeah, and if you do the conversation right, they're the ones that say, "Well, how much is it?" And you're like, "This much," and then you just stop talking, and like don't tell them how great it is or why they should buy it and why everyone else is horrible. You just wait for them to say something else, and then if they have a question, answer it, and you're like, "All right, what else? What do you want to do?" And that's like kind of the closing process. And eventually, they'll either not want it, or they'll be like, "All right, let's give it a shot."
Yeah. And
That's
I'm
neat.
looking at the comments here. There's a lot of asking about money, and it's a good thing. So definitely keep the questions coming. But just to clarify here, folks, you could charge a setup fee if you want, or you don't have to. You'll definitely want to charge a monthly fee. Frank has recommended you could do 197. You could do mid or higher than that, but you're going to charge them through high level and then collect that month over month. We'll go into that as we get into the next day, 2 and 3. So keep those questions there. I do want to share with you all that it's important, if you don't have a social media profile now, to go ahead and sign up for those profiles, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are all the main ones, because what Frank's going to show you in the next coming days is essentially how to show this to that customer, how to do this demo. And then at that point, if they could see it, they'll pull their wallet out, and with all due respect, they'll buy from you because you know what you're doing. Um, for those of you that are just kind of in the wind of like, why even go this route? Why not go AI or go any other feature? Frank, could you share a little bit about, as we wrap this up here, the pivot into the reviews and reputation and how that opens up the doors for everything else?
Yeah, it's the easiest. So you don't have to convince them that more reviews is good. Like there, maybe there's one random person like a Unabomber type, like, no, more reviews is bad, but like they already know. They're like, yeah, I know this would be great. So that's already out of the way, and it doesn't break, and it doesn't require a lot of technical skill on your behalf to set up or anything. So it's just an easy sale. It's an easy demo. Like we just demo with slides. You don't have to actually log into the software. It's amazing. Whereas the AI is really freaking cool, but it also requires a little bit more technical knowledge, and they might be weirded out by it. And I found this, if the AI doesn't say like the perfect answer in their mind, it'll freak them out. They're like, oh, wait, well, no, it should have worded it like this. And you're like, okay, dude, whatever. Like they get so hung up on perfectionist stuff. So if you're not really good at making it say like word things exactly how they want it worded, then they can go off and get freaked out by that. And you lose them, even though it doesn't really matter how it's worded. Like, what color is it? Red. Like, actually, they should have said it was a bright cayenne. Like, okay, that's the kind of thing you can deal with AI, where this is, I guess, easy. It does not require a lot of resistance. It doesn't require a lot of convincing. It doesn't require a lot of tech stuff on your behalf. It doesn't require, like, I'm trying to think of any circumstance in which it will require tech support, and I can't. But surely something, like one day someone might need you to help them do something, like maybe they'll break something or whatever. But there's no ongoing support needed other than just be there in case. And I can't think of what could go wrong for them, but still, Murphy's Law and whatnot. So that's why I recommend starting with this. They're pre-sold on it. They already know it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that clarification, Frank. And tomorrow we have day 2. We're back here, 12 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow's training is around getting your first customer fast, even if you're shy and you don't like sales. Would you mind kind of unpacking here what that includes for someone? Like what do they need to bring with them? What do they need to do? Like, this sounds too easy.
Well, it's not, so certainly you're going to have people say no. And it's going to be, if you've never done anything like this before, your first couple conversations are going to be awkward and weird, and you probably won't get the sale, and that's okay. What won't happen is they're like furious and they hate you. So, get that out of your mind. But like I said, there's essentially these three phases. Number one, we find people who have a problem. We don't talk to anybody in that process. There's a button we press. It's in high level. It's cool. We'll show you tomorrow. Me and JB will kind of show you how it works. It's real neat. So that's thing one. No human interaction required. Thing two is we reach out to those people and we show them that they've got this problem, and we offer to show them how to solve the problem for free. All right. So we do that by email, not a million emails, not like some spammy, uncool thing. I've actually written the email for you. We've tested it. Got real lucky the first day I taught this and wrote the email right before the class, and it just so happens to work really, really well. But literally, like, the email scripted is perfect. And then some of them will be like, some of them won't answer, and some of them will be like, yeah, okay, that sounds interesting. All right. And so when they say that sounds interesting, then you schedule an appointment. I prefer Zoom. Like, why do you want to go there? They don't care. So I'm more of a Zoom person. Get on Zoom with them, show them how to solve the problem, then show them how it works in high level, and then stop talking. And they will inevitably, if not literally, the first thing that they ask you is, how much is it? And that is secret code for, I want to buy this, which we all know. Like, why would they ask the price if they didn't want to buy it? So then you answer them, and then you stop talking and let them have questions.
The whole stop talking thing, it's hard sometimes, Frank, and I'm guilty of it. So you'll teach us a little bit on how to do that tomorrow to lead into the sale. Look, y'all, I'm gonna take it from here and just say thank you to Frank. If you can just help me join me, and in the chat, just give Frank a virtual high five, throw a rocket, a money sign, a fist pound, whatever you want. And keep those questions coming. If you're watching the replay here at some point later today, ask those questions. We'll jump back in and get those answers for you tomorrow. But other than that, it's been a pleasure having you with us, Frank. As always, you know how to lighten up the week, but also how to smack somebody with a little bit of reality check that you're in your own way. So appreciate you very much for that.
Yeah, I'm always the one responsible for my own stuff that goes wrong. So like, ain't no one else any different. I can't remember where the quote comes from, but it's, I have seen the enemy and they is us. Like, we're the only ones keeping us from getting what we want. And it's usually all this stuff we worry about that's not even real. So I can tell you from experience, 26 years of experience, most of the stuff ain't real that you're worried about. So just stop worrying about it. It's easier said than done. So just pretend not to be worried about it for the next couple of days. And then you'll be like, wow, I pretended not to worry about it and things were okay. I think I'll actually not worry about it. It'll be good.
Now that's a mic drop with a closeout. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.